Good morning, this is Alamon, and welcome to Out There Omega Edition. I was introduced to this game by the Ronin Pawn. He played it on his channel. I've been playing the mobile version for a little bit, and I've just finally splashed out for the PC version, which was, I got it for $8.99 in the Humble store. It was on sale. So I am not going to do a quick start for this first one at least. Let's go through it properly.
I'm an astronaut aboard the Nomad. Passenger on a line that connects Earth to Ganymede, a moon of Jupiter. Until something happened.
Very 2001 there.
When I awoke from cryonics, I wasn't in orbit around Ganymede. In fact, I wasn't even in the solar system anymore. I was out there.
Alright, well, we don't need the tutorial, so let's jump in. Now, I've never actually gotten to that red thing. In fact, I've only had one successful ending in the several times that I've played this game. It's quite challenging, but I think I get a little better each time I play it. Now, if you're not familiar with this game, it's basically a roguelike. You start with this ship with a little bit of resources. So you have three main resources: fuel, oxygen, and hull. You can replenish your fuel with, on this ship, hydrogen or helium. Your oxygen is replenished, obviously, with molecular oxygen. And we use iron to repair the hull. We also have a space folder, which is how we jump from star to star. We can, if that gets damaged, we can repair it with iron. We also have a telescope on this ship. We can also repair that with iron. Actually, I think all of these are repaired with iron. Once you get a little further and have more complex modules, they might require different resources. Interplanetary reactor to go from planet to planet within a star system. We have a drill to drill for metallic and other solid resources. And a hydrogen probe to get hydrogen and helium from gas giants, or if you get an ultra probe, from stars. So this game is very random number generator based. So here's a space station. The space stations give you a random resource. So if this one would give us fuel, it would be advantageous to go there. But I'm not going to risk that, because we have to spend 10 fuel just to get there. So let's see, yellow dwarf or yellow dwarf. Well, let's go to the yellow dwarf. And I'm mostly going to skip these, but first time through, we'll watch the whole thing. Alright. Work in space. Experience adventures. You wouldn't want to live your life behind a desk now, would you? You need space, my boy. Yippee! I have plenty of space now. An enormous 18 square meters. Alright, rocky planet or gas giant? Well, I think we want to go to the gas giant. Now this tells us it's going to cost 10 fuel to get there, 6 oxygen to get there, and that little exclamation point relates to the risky orbit. It's going to damage us. It might damage us quite severely. I've had up to about 50 hull points taken off before, but if we're lucky, it'll only be around 15 to 20. Alright, well, here we go. Oh, good, only 13. That was very tame. Man, the graphics are so much better than on the mobile version. I can still see a little bit of roughness around the edges. Some anti-aliasing there would be nice, but so much nicer. Alright, let's probe. I'm going to start with just 4 fuel. And that was very wise, because this guy actually has almost no fuel at all. Now, unfortunately, this is the most boring and grindy thing in this game, but it is advantageous to send out these hydrogen probes with only 1 fuel to get 1 hydrogen each time, because hydrogen is worth 2 fuel. Now luckily, and this is different from the mobile game, it actually saves how much fuel you want to launch your probe with. So that definitely speeds things up a bit. But yeah, the danger is if you send a probe out with tons of fuel, but it only brings back 1 or 2 hydrogen, you might have just spent more fuel than you actually brought back. Okay, nothing left to drill. That's fine. Let's open up our ship menu. Drop in some hydrogen there, and we're going to split this stack in half. Now, the reason I'm not bringing it all the way up to full is, well, 2 reasons. One, if we come across a ship floating in space, we might want to take it, and they always come with a full tank of fuel. Also, there are random events that can replenish your fuel. So generally, you don't want to bring any resource all the way up to full, unless you're running out of cargo space. Alright, a rocky planet. I don't think that we have any blueprints of anything we would want to build. No, we don't have any real need for any metallic resources right now. So we're just going to keep jumping. Black hole. Those black holes, in my experience, they sometimes have space stations, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen a planet around a black hole. So let's go to the neutron star. A weird crystal ship just appeared out of nowhere. It blinks, emits strange noises, and even tries to probe my mind. Finally, it sends me a sort of mental request. I see 2 spheres linked together, and each sphere has 8 small satellites. What does it want? Alright, 2 spheres, 8 small satellites. That's going to be your molecular oxygen with the electrons in the outer band or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a chemist or physicist. I jettison some oxygen into space. The crystalline visitor absorbs it and answers with soft sounds. Then a force takes control of my mind, and I lose consciousness. I wake up later, and am about to curse it when I realize that it has somehow transmitted new knowledge into my mind. That's a lot of oxygen. We've learned supraconductor. I believe that's related to shields. Let's take a peek. So yes, it requires a shield generator, and it prevents all damage via a ceaselessly alternating magnetic field. And this takes tungsten to build. The W being short for wolfram, which is another name for that element. And nothing around that neutron star. That's fine. Yeah, I think we're going to go to this blue giant next. I found something quite amazing. Deep inside the core of an iron-rich moon, a construction site full of working machines working for millions of years, building small probes and launching them into space. Apparently all that's left of a civilization long gone, millennia ago. I tried to explore, but an automated defense system fired on me and drove me off. One little thing I noticed, is this civilization spelled the British style. I'm pretty sure that the developer of this is a French company, so I guess that might make sense. Ooh, that's a fair amount of damage, and we didn't even get anything good from it. Gas giant, that is a funky-looking gas giant, and a rocky planet. Yeah, we're getting quite low in fuel, and hopefully this will have more fuel. You can actually orbit stars as well. Well, I mean, we're already in orbit, but I mean, get down close. But that's only if you have the proper equipment to actually harvest resources from the stars. We're definitely not to that stage yet. Alright, our hull is a bit damaged. Actually, all in all, we're not doing so well. But let's orbit. Good, we took barely any damage. We're being very lucky here. Let's drill for 5 fuel. I can't believe it. This one's just as bad as the other one. That's incredibly rotten luck. So we're just gonna have to do the grindy thing here. That alarm was signifying that we have 25 fuel now. Nothing left to drill. Alright, at this point we do need to just dump all of that into the tank. Well, we don't need to, but there's still a lot of room up there in case we do get a positive event. Another blue giant or a yellow dwarf. The yellow dwarf's closer. So we'll go there. Day 45. I've been sleeping for a long time. The ship briefly fell into orbit around an electromagnetic anomaly that messed with the ship's main computer and kept me in stasis a couple days longer than expected. Well, at least I've had some rest. Oxygen's getting quite critically low, but that is a garden planet with a breathable atmosphere. We have to go to the gas giant first, though, because our fuel is really not great. But yeah, if we land on this, it will immediately replenish our oxygen to full. So, gas giant first. Okay, that was a bit more damage. Getting pretty critical here. I'd love if we would find another ship to take over, because this one's just a wreck right now. Alright, probe. 5. That's much better. Hauling up 14 on the first probe. Now, I've certainly had better than that, but that's still... Here we go. Now, one thing I've noticed, excuse me, in harvesting resources is it seems like for hydrogen and helium, it doesn't matter what the depth is. Whereas on the rocky planets, when you're trying to get rare elements and stuff, the depth seems to make a difference. I'm not 100% sure if that's true, or if it's just a random numbers game. And you just are much luckier when you drill lower. But yeah. Right, so let's go to the garden planet. Now you actually can take damage while landing on garden planets as well. Yeah, so it says we're going to take 10 damage, which is unfortunate. The breathable atmosphere of this planet has allowed me to restore my oxygen supply. All the way up to 100. Let's encounter life. There's a member of the Laba Elen. Laba Elen, Daba Ho Alarmed. Laba Elen, Daba Ho Amaltep. Laba Elen, Dekorta. Sbar Laba Elen. Ubran, Ligmain. Urtal Tagari. I'm just gonna nod and see what happens. Urban Ligmain Tagari Laba Elen Gelil Urbran. Doesn't want to talk anymore. But we learned a new word. Gelil, fear. Alright, we could drill, which would get us probably carbon and oxygen, and possibly some gold. But we do have a full stack of oxygen there. Let's actually split this stack of iron. Whoops. Repair the hull a little bit. And split that hydrogen as well. Alright, now we'll take off. We're still worse for the wear. So the blue giant's a little closer than the yellow dwarf. But what's that? A yellow dwarf. Okay. We'll give it a try. Day 54. I see an immense space octopus. When I say immense, think of an island drifting along a belt of asteroids. It probes them, chooses one, and crushes it to dust with its tentacle, revealing useful mineral resources. It then absorbs them with its mouth. Suddenly, the creature stops all activities, entranced. Ooh, we can leave, get closer to the mouth, or examine what's left. I feel like this is probably the safest choice. But let's get closer to the mouth, because already I don't have a very good feeling about this run, and who knows, maybe this is a really good thing. I imagine it's probably random number weighted thing as to whether this is positive or negative. I approach the huge mouth of the motionless giant drifting in space. Is it sleeping, or swallowed something that killed it? From where I am, I could see veinlets of platinum and of strange and evidently potent black substances on its skin. As soon as I approach its mouth and try to squeeze between the barrier of its teeth, they gently close. I turn around and see its tentacle trying to grab me, scraping my hull. I fly farther, but it's not chasing me. Okay, we got a little nibble there. Well, we have to keep going to gas giants because we are forever critically low on fuel. Unfortunately, our hull is also getting critically low. We would have to drill for more iron, but we don't have the fuel to do that, so... Code Red, this will be my last entry. The hull is disintegrating, and the whole ship is losing pressure. I'm putting a spacesuit on right now to allow for a couple of extra minutes of survival, but this is still the end. So long, may mankind someday find my logbook, the testament of one of their brothers who fought until the very end. This is the end of my journey. Well, that was fast. We had those 2 gas giants early on, which were incredibly resource poor, and that then, because they were so resource poor, that meant we always had to go to any gas giant we saw without drilling for iron to fix our hull, and eventually it led to this. So, it's all a random numbers game, but, no, it's not all a random numbers game. You really have to know what you're doing in order to get far in this game, but no matter how much you know, you can still get wrecked early on. So, let's just hope we have better luck next time. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing more of Out There. Though admittedly, this rather pathetic run was maybe not the best introduction to the game. Well, alright, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the death seed bite. Bye-bye.